when it came showtime. And these groups, two groups of students have really had a lot of fun, so I think you're going to see the results tonight. And how many are here to see someone, not just show? Okay. Well, there's 7 comics. They're all terrific. You'll each have your favorites, I'm sure. It may not be the person you came to see, but you don't have to tell them that. That's okay. I am also part of the fun of teaching is I'm very reflective on my career. This is my 46th year of doing stand-up comedy, and I am reflective. I was on Alan Thicke Show, Thick of the Night, every week, and Alan passed away suddenly. I was on Joan Rivers every month, and Joan passed away suddenly. I kind of wish I'd been on The Apprentice, but that's neither here nor there. I know Trump's going to be very upset because someone's about to tell him that the Gulf of America identifies as transatlantic. So, yeah, it's been an experience, and I already know I'm in Portland, so I'm safe with Trump jokes. Well, anywhere in the world outside Red America, you're safe with them. How many are married here? We got married folks? Okay, well, good for you. My husband and I celebrating our 28th anniversary. We both survived Republican families, so that's always good. My grandmother was such a Republican, she refused to carry a Roosevelt dime until the day she died. Young people may not know who Roosevelt was or what a dime is, frankly. Talk to an older person next to you. At my grandmother's funeral in 1981, after everyone left the gravesite, I threw in a Kennedy $50 and a Roosevelt dime, so she's buried with 60 cents of Democrats, whether she likes it or not. And she was, in the 50s, my grandmother was kind of nice in a way, but she was also very emblematic of the 50s. She talked smack about black people, about Jews, hated Catholics, and homosexuals. Well, my oldest sister married a Catholic man. My next oldest sister married a Jewish man. I'm gay. My youngest sister married a black man. The gospel. My grandmother has rolled over in the grave so many times she's rotated away to China, ladies and gentlemen. And she's not coming back because of the tariffs. So, but really, the dilemma for Gary and me right now, life is good other than Trump, but our dilemma is our car. Well, let me just put it this way. We bought a car 13 months ago, and it's an odd time when you can be out about your gay relationship, but in the closet about your Tesla. I slapped a bumper sticker and said, "This is a Buick Regal. It's not working." Getting flipped off. We can't even use the self-driving. I turned it on, it goes right to a bunker of Proud Boys. So, fuck that, Elon Musk looking for corruption is like OJ looking for the real murderer. At least Elon is using pronouns now. He, him, Hitler. He's got those. Thank you. Don't know Roosevelt or Hitler, but we'll be okay. Trump's me. He's got that down. I don't know. I think my favorite thing, entertainment-wise, is just listening to Bernie Sanders. I love Bernie, just the way he says the word oligarchy. I pay to see that. Don't you love the way he just says that word? It's like, Musk gave Trump $240 million and gets all the favors. This is not democracy, this is oligarchy. I just want to hang with Bernie. I want to go out to eat with him. I'll have the mashed potatoes, the pork chops, but no oligarchy. I don't want oligarchy anywhere near. Canada. Who could make an enemy of Canada? That is politically impossible till Trump. And I'm thinking, what did Canada ever do to us? I researched this for a week. I found maybe 4 months ago, a rabid beaver came across the border and bit Marjorie Taylor Greene. That was the only thing that I could think. I don't know. And Robert F. Kennedy? Oh, man, he actually said that some pesticides can make people gay. Yeah, I remember when I was 11, my parents took me to be crop dusted. Are you ready for a great show, ladies and gentlemen? We do have a no heckling rule for student showcases. You can heckle me all you want. That was more a cackle than a heckle. But these students have really worked hard. I know you're going to support him. And our first performer, I just love them all. He has a unique worldview, and he's actually... It's better if you actually laugh at the punchlines. If you're laughing at the setups, this is going to be a great night, I'll tell you that. He actually has been around the world. He met his wife on the other side of the world. And please welcome Nate Buchholz. Thank
you, Carl. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate you being here. My name is Nate. I have brain cancer. That was my second funniest joke. But I'm going to keep on rolling. Brain cancer, I mean, it's not a good thing. There are some silver linings, one I can think of. And it's this excuse that I've come to call like the C card. It's not a card, but I think of it as such. It's like a reason where I can just be immature if I feel like it, ask people to do things that I shouldn't ask them to do, get out of things that I should have to do. It's like a trump card. And you imagine like rolling down the highway a little too fast, cop pulls you over, and son, do you know how fast you were going? And I'm like, I've got cancer, I'm going to cancer stuff. And they're like, oh, Jesus, man, yep, you need an escort, let's go. And even more minor things, the grass is getting shaggy in the front yard. My wife's like, Nate, would you mind going to cancer? Fine. So, there's some good effects. I'm feeling fine. Thank you very much. And it's not the only thing that defines me. I have a wonderful family, beautiful wife who's in the audience, two wonderful children. My son is 13, and that's quite an age for all the parents out there, or anybody who's ever been 13, which presumably is everyone here. And it's about that time where Anya, my wife's like, you need to teach them a little bit about the birds and the bees and have that conversation, and it's so awkward. I'm like, hey, buddy, do you like any girls? No, God, Dad, no. Got boys? You like boys? No. The they, the them, I'm trying to be like acceptable for this, but like so awkward because I don't really know what I'm talking about. Equally awkward. But I'm told, and I know that I need to educate him. I told my wife, I'm like, just turn off the safe browsing on his phone. Education complete. There's so much opportunity in the palm of your hands. And from my experience, when we pick up the laundry and get it out of his room, he's learned some things. Because I'm pulling out the sweatshirts and stuff, but the gym socks are rigid as a dinner plate. And so I'm like, he's figured some things out. And then that makes me think, truly, this maybe is the golden age of masturbation. Because when I was a kid, like I'm fidgeting and walking around and just hoping that the Sears catalog comes in the mail. Because there's gonna be a swimsuit and like a couple of bras in that catalog, and that was about as good as it got. Although when that didn't show up. And thank you to having cultured parents, we had National Geographics. And March 1983, Topless Tribes was sizzling. Golden age of masturbation. I was thinking about like what would my kid be looking at if we did turn that off, and I'm sure nobody here has ever been to a porn site. I have. And just for like studying for this class, and you go down the categories. I tried to count how many categories there were, and I got stuck for 7 minutes on armless amateurs. And then I'm looking at other things, and I'm 47 years old, and I don't know what a lot of these words are. So my son explained them to me later. But thinking of crispy laundry, my mother-in-law lives with us now. And I'll get to the crispy laundry in a moment. I met her in Ukraine, and my wife. So I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Ukraine. That mission was not successful. Thank you, sir. For the first time I met my mother-in-law, I went over to her apartment, and where my future wife, my girlfriend at the time, lived. And I'll never forget, I showed up with 3 months of Ukrainian language training, and it's not an easy language. And I'm going through the whole conversation that you have with your girlfriend's mother, but in Ukrainian. So I'm trying to explain like who I am and what I'm doing there, and like what my intentions are. And I'm fumbling for a word, and I can't remember what it was, but I'm fumbling for a word. And then she gives me the word, and I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I realized she gave me the word in English, and I was like, do you speak English? Of course I speak English. I'm an English teacher. I'm like, fuck you! I've been here for like 5 minutes. I could have been better prepped for that conversation. Or I could have asked my girlfriend about something about her life, I suppose, prior to going into that. The second or third time I went there, I'm wearing jeans. And the beauty of jeans, one of them is like, they look good, you don't really have to wash them much, and you certainly don't have to iron them because they're jeans. And I'm standing there, and she's looking me up and down, and she goes, your jeans are wrinkled, take them off. I was like, yeah. She goes, take them off. And I was like, she's like, I will iron your jeans. And this is a true story. I'm standing in the next room in this apartment of my pretty new girlfriend in Ukraine, handing my pants through the door, being like, I am not in Kansas anymore. And she's like, here, 1983 National Geo, occupied. So that was strange. And then she came to live with us because of this horrible war that's going on, and the woman has taken over the laundry in a way that is amazing. The underwear that you cannot see underneath these pants are ironed. My socks are ironed. And at first I was like, you don't need to do that. And now I found a use for that CD case from high school with like 2 columns. It has a pleather cover, That's where I put my underwear, because it's like so thin and crisp. You just put it in the slots. And in the morning I'm just like, yeah, that one. So that's been quite great. And then, I guess to round it off, I do work. I pull the C card when I can. To shirk my duties best I can, not getting laid off, still getting paid. But I still got to come up with good ideas. And I was out to dinner the other night with my wife and my boss and his wife. And I was like, oh, what do you do? And she works for this tech company. They do bill collection, but with a technical twist. So it's algorithmically determined how they do the calls. So 30 days your bill is due, there's a call. It's like, hey, the bill on the car, you got to pay it. Thank you. Second 60 days, it's like, look, man, you come over, you pay this bill, or we take your car. And like 90 days in, it's like, take your pants off. But it gets pretty serious. She said, but we branched out, and we're doing this promotion for Disney, where Mickey Mouse, if you buy the whole package, will call your kids on Christmas morning. So, it's like, hey kids, we're going to Disneyland. Kids are like, yay! And I was like, what you should do is match the two. Do Mickey for bill collection. So 30 days in, it's like, hey kids, dad hasn't paid the car yet, so send that over. And then 60 days, it's like, boy, we're getting really angry. We need to pay that bill. And like by 90 days, it's like, look, motherfucker. That's it for me. Thank you very much for your audience.
Ladies and gentlemen. Hey! Come on! Peace Corps! And now stand-up comedy. That's the way of the world, isn't it? One more time for Nate. Nate fans? The Nate fans, oh, look at them. Yeah. You get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. Good job, Nate. This good stuff, man. And all true.
C card.
Yeah. Anyone work with Nate? Oh, okay.
How would we know?
Yeah, how would you know? I don't know. I saw something today in Portland I had never seen before. I saw a car with Washington plates going the correct way down a one-way street. Do we have any Washingtonians here? I should. Oh, yeah. No? Former. Okay. What happened?
We came back home.
You what?
We came back home, but we lived there 20 years.
20 years. Okay. How come you came back home?
Family.
Oh, yeah. They ruin everything. Actually, I have a lot of good things to say about Washington. The voters in 2012, no other state ever did this. In 2012, Washington voters, on the same day, approved gay marriage and legal weed. Which just was telling the rest of the country we've been reading Leviticus incorrectly. If a man sleeps with a man, he should be stoned. That's all right, one more time for Nate. Just for Where's Nate's wife? Where are you?
Nate's wife, right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm right here.
You're sorry. I'm sorry, I'm right here. Part of the wedding vows. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm here. Had Nate practiced this at home?
He did not.
Really? Where's your mom, by the way?
Well,
These could use a little work right here. Although Topless Tribes did nothing for me. All right. Just saying. Are you ready to keep the show going? Are you very funny guy. Such a droll sense of humor. Please welcome Mike Shriver, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Shriver. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Carl. My name is Mike. Hi. I heard this theory going around that we are most at our funniest right after working out, doing a lot of exercise. As you can tell, I have yet to test this theory. So we'll have to go with the non-having worked out version of my act, and we'll see how it goes. A while back, I turned 65. And, yeah, it's not as big a deal as you think. But I started seeing ads for this app on my phone. And the ad was Solitaire for Seniors. Now this, they have these targeted ads. This bothered me in two ways. First, they know that I'm 65. And second, they know that I'm single. And it got me wondering what other apps I was going to see ads for. Like Minecraft for the mature. Or Candy Crush for codgers. Angry Birds yelling at clouds. And it also happened that I had an appointment with my doctor right after I turned 65. And he was way more excited than I was about it. He was like, welcome to 65. Like I won a prize on a game show, or like he was welcoming me to an exclusive club, Welcome to the Silver Senior Club, sir. Would you care for an Arnold Palmer and some Metamucil? And, he's gotten really blasé. There's always something wrong with me when I go there, and he doesn't even, worry about it anymore. I went in there one time, I had a calf strain in my leg, and he said, well, how'd you do that? I said, well, I stood up. And he said, well, don't do that. He wanted something checked out in my heart. It was fine, it turned out. But he said, you're going to see the Rhythm Control Group. And at first I thought he's getting me tickets for those people that sang Everybody Dance Now in the 90s. And no, it was just like another doctor, another set of doctors. I find that I have to be careful anymore giving directions to people as I get older because I tend to give directions based on what used to be there. I'll be like, okay, go this way for a while, and then turn right where that school used to be, and then keep going, and then turn left by that firehouse that burned down. Okay. Get out your Google map, and when it asks when you want to arrive, tell it 1982. Okay, now look for the school and turn right. I'm not working at the moment. I was working earlier this year. I am now, as they say, at leisure. That's also not as big a deal anyway. People have different words for this. When I was younger and I wasn't working, they would say things, like lazy or slack ass. Now they just call me retired. And they're envious, They say, oh, I wish I could be retired. When I was younger, they didn't say, oh, I wish I could be a lazy slack ass. I talked about not working out much, but I do walk a lot and I take the bus. I don't own a car. And there's some perks, there's good things and bad things. One of the perks is every couple of years TriNet springs for a batch of new buses. And you can tell on that day they're coming down the street, and they're all shiny, and they have that new bus smell when you get in. That's great. I love that. I love that stuff. And they should market. TriNet should market this. They should pay me to market this. I can solve all their budget problems. They can have air fresheners, a whole line of air fresheners you put around your house, scented candles with new bus smell. The smell of TriNet in your own home. It smells like fresh plastic and hope. I take the bus most of the time, but every once in a while I will splurge and take an Uber. And there's a couple things that bother me about taking an Uber. One of them is they insist on telling me something like, Paul is arriving in a Honda XR7. Now, I don't own a car. Okay, that's why I'm taking an Uber. I don't own a car. I don't know what a Honda XR, like I'm going to be going, that's last year's Honda XR22. That can't be Paul. I don't own a car. Just tell me it's a blue car coming. And that's all I need to know. And the other thing is the drivers can be a little annoying, but I figured a way around that. It happened when I was going to the hospital for some tests, just routine tests. And but I realized that what the great thing about having the hospital as your destination when you take an Uber is you don't get all the, so, what do you got going on today? You got any big plans today? They don't want to know. They just stay real quiet. And it works the same way coming home. If they pick you up at the hospital, it's the same way. You don't get, hey, benign or malignant. It's so they don't do that. Works out well. And I've decided to use this when I take an Uber other times. So what I will do is I find a funeral home really near where I'm going, and I make that the destination. They just stay real quiet, shuts them right up. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. I talked about being injured a lot when I go to the doctor, and one thing I've learned not to do is, and again with TriNet, is to run to try to catch the bus. Something always happens if I do that. The worst time was a long time ago. It was nighttime and I was on Burnside and I was walking toward the bus stop, and I was on my way there and I could see the bus was coming. So I started to run to try to catch it. And I didn't realize I was at a curve at an intersection, and I just fell flop right over the curb. And I landed on this hand, and So I was laying in the street, and I took my hand out, and it's all mangled and, broken, and his finger was broken. So, I was okay, I guess. And I looked up, and the bus was still coming, and I saw that it wasn't the right bus. It was the wrong bus. So I just waved goodbye, no, you're not the bus I want, keep going, no. And I collected myself, got up. Eventually the ambulance came, and I thought the guy was going to ask me about my hand. And all he said was, "So, what do you got going on today? Got any big plans?" Thank you. Nice driver, ladies. Nice driver.
Mike mentioned working out, and the release of endorphins. You guys know what endorphins are?
Yeah.
The number one method to release the most endorphins? Exercise. Number two, laughter. So there you go. Sex is like fourth or fifth after dark chocolate, so figure that out. But also studies show, we talk about these things occasionally in class, you're your most creative after you work out. So get to it. Gary is a little bit younger than me, and he climbed Mount St. Helens, which I thought was amazing. So I was so inspired the next day I made it halfway up Mount Tabor. My Sherpa quit. I mean, can't even get a good Sherpa these days. They're not even in shape. Now it's so hard. But thank you, stay with the group. But, one more time for Mike Schreiber. By the way, if you're interested in taking stand-up, portlandcomedy.com, all the classes, improv classes are stand-up. We have 2 stand-up classes starting at the end of June, so I'd love to have you in the class. And it really is a lot of fun. I asked my students to start with their truth. I had a 51-year-old woman a couple years ago, and she said her daughter told her she was polyamorous, and the mother said to the daughter, "In my day, we called that a slut." My friend Dylan took the class a couple times, and like Nate, he had to explain the birds and the bees to his 13-year-old son. And he told his son that the man puts his penis in the woman's vagina, and his son Grant says, "Do I get it back?" Stuff happens. Report it from the comedy stage. All right, great job, Mike. And coming to the stage now, she's really special. She's taking her second class with me. She's got a real defined style. Love to listen to her. You will too. Please welcome Sue Chittick, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, my name is Sue Chittick. I am 51 years old. I just have this just in case. I know this is unprofessional, but anyways, just in case, you just never know. Okay, yeah, so my name is Sue Chittick. I'm 51 years old. I do work at OHSU. That's Oregon Health and Sciences University, OHS and U. I like to say it like that. OHS and U. OHS and U. I feel it's more welcoming to me. Because, to be honest with you, I would say at best I find the place slightly alienating. At worst, I find the place to be horrifically frightening, much like a fun house of horrors. But rest assured, always damn disgusting. So, yeah. OHS and U. And this is my business card here. I'll tell you more about that. But I'd like to imagine what it's like for the people on the 13th floor, you know, way up in the upper echelons of OHS and U, the board of directors, for example. I like to imagine, you know, mid-morning meeting, you know, they've got that long table there. They've got like a table on the side there, and it's got like 3 oval fruit platters. And it's just abundant with flavorful, brilliant colored grapes, you know, those really dark black blue grapes, and then like those maroon grapes and the beautiful green grapes, and perhaps they might have a tricolor melon ball salad. You know, you got the watermelon, you got the honeydew, you got the cantaloupe. Maybe some warm croissants. Some fruit spread on the side. I like honey and butter myself. Maybe some egg bites. Those are in vogue these days with cheese. Perhaps a bagel bar. You could have your plain bagels, you could have your everything bagels, your honey wheat. Okay, so I'd like to have flavored cream cheese if I'm going to have a bagel. They've got strawberry cream cheese, they've got dried apricot, that would be my first choice. But then if I'm having eggs, I'm going to want to have hash browns too. I'm also going to want ketchup. But back to the meeting. So they've got Tina Kochek on the conference call there because, and so they're talking, and they've had a unanimous vote to go ahead and lay off 1,500 employees. So they're going to decide my fate. Okay. And after the meeting, it's like, you know, oh, Gerald, you going to the club tonight? I'm gonna beat you, you old dog, yeah, I'm gonna beat you. Oh, Clarence, we golfing Saturday morning? Well, if the wife lets me, you son of a gun, yeah. You know, something like that, I don't know. Meanwhile, down on the 2nd floor, next to the boiler room, 2 doors down from the morgue, you've got about 40 to 50 transporters and myself. I just got the job. This is going back a time, a few years, maybe 8, 9 years, I don't know, 10 years. You lose track. You lose track. But yeah, so we're all muscling, trying to get to that time clock because you've got about, 40, 50 transporters. You got like a little alcove here with 3 time clocks. And what it is that you've got a 3-minute window. So you've got the time you're supposed to clock in. 3 minutes prior to that, you're too early. 3 minutes after that, you're too late, which is an incident report. Now, if you get 3 incident reports, then you get an investigatory meeting, okay? So I'm like, hey, sister, get out of my way. I'm not getting canned today. So I did get an investigatory. I'm sure that would surprise you. But this is the thing. The thing is that, I may have a warped sense of time, okay? But I am aware of time. I am aware of the passage of time. There's all kinds of time. I've got time. You've got time. There's 4-4 time, or common time. That's like where you got 4 beats to the measure. Each quarter note gets 1 beat. That's 4-4 time. You've got daylight savings time. You've got military time. That's what the hospital goes by, military time. You've got Miller time, which I enjoy. And then you've also got 3/4 time, 3/4 time. And if you're doing 3/4 time, sometimes you want to swing that beat. You want to elongate that 2nd beat. And you want to shorten the 3rd. You want to give it kind of a swing, but you're still on time. You're still technically on time, which is what I was trying to tell them at the investigatory meeting. They weren't having it, I don't know. It's beyond hope. But, I'm at the beginning of my shift here as a transporter, and I'm pushing the stretcher. I'm taking a gal from Kohler Pavilion, 7th floor, over to CT scan and back. So here I am. I've got my hand on the stretcher here. You know, going along through the hospital, having a good day. I like to sing about the moon and the June and the spring. I like to sing. Ma'am, please keep your arms inside the stretcher at all times, please. Thank you, ma'am. Where was I? Like to sing got a T for two, me and you, skies of blue. I love to sing. And so, yeah, then what happens next is that a few years go by, I get a promotion. My ship finally came in. I was so excited because then I became what they call a PPA, or perioperative patient assistant. And so I moved up 2 floors to the 4th floor. So now I'm on the surgical unit, the 4th floor. So we all wear those blue scrubs, and it's a sterile environment. And so, you know, we do all kinds of things. Excuse me, I move around a lot of equipment. I move around a lot of equipment as a PPA. So one of the pieces of equipment that I move around a bit is this robot. It's this $30 million robot, and they've got several of them. When it is at rest in the hallway next to the window, it just stands there like this staring, okay, real still, you know, ready to pounce. And it's got about a 3x3 square, very large base, covers the wheels. Then it has this column, a vertical column. Then up here, like where the shoulders would be, it has a horizontal column. And then it has these praying mantis looking arms. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. And then up here, it has this joint that turns the column of arms. So it really does look menacing. And it stares. And so sometimes I have to move it into the surgical unit. And the surgeon will sit in the corner of the unit there, staring into this giant screen that's highly magnified. And I think he or she is looking through the Da Vinci's hands, because I think there's cameras there, but I don't really know. But so I move the thing into the OR, you know, I move it in there, and then after we finish preparing the setting for the surgery, I leave, and then I'm looking in the window there in the doorway, and the Da Vinci is ready. So the Da Vinci does this, it goes, and it gets like so tall that it's almost touching the ceiling. And then the arms splay out. Then they stick these rods on each hand. They're real long and thin. And then at the very end, they have these teeny little alligator mouths. And that's what's doing the surgeries in there. It's crazy looking. So it goes and it sends down onto the patient. Just like that. So that's their $30 million machine. I don't know if they've got that kind of cash on hand. Maybe they could throw a couple bucks more an hour my way. Just an idea. Just a suggestion. I'm not a mathematician, but you know. So, yeah. You probably want to know what the name of the robot is. It's called Da Vinci, okay? So I looked that up, okay? I was thinking like Leonardo da Vinci, like, okay, this is a very famous person. So Leonardo da Vinci painted, well, the Last Supper, I guess he painted that. There was probably a very good spread there. Also, he painted like the Madonna and Child, you know, everything looks very beautiful and very exquisite and very, you know, divine, I guess. And the Mona Lisa too, he painted that too. So, well, I mean, Da Vinci probably thinks that Da Vinci is, you know, a one-of-a-kind, perfect creation. And I mean, all I can say is I've worked a lot of jobs in my life, but I've known a lot of Jesuses. And I'll tell you, with a name like that, it sets you up for disappointment. I mean, if you're going to name this bucket of gold something like that, at least have it do more than just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know, but, I mean, Da Vinci, what you're looking at here is a divine creation, right? I mean, nobody can mop a floor quite like I can, okay? I do it with a unique flair and grace and mobility and unpredictability as well. And you see, I clean up all those pubic hair tumbleweeds. I get the golden hues, I get the ambers, I get the silvers, I get the ravens, blacks. And nobody can wipe the walls the way that I can, catching all of the burnt flesh, all of the blubber balls, all of the gummy blood, and the scabby blood. Nobody can do it quite like me. So, Da Vinci, I guess what I would say to you is, I guess I would just say it's time for my break. But don't worry about me, Da Vinci. I'll just be in the bathroom for about 45 minutes. I've got a pizza I've ordered. And I'll just sing you a little song, Da Vinci, before I go. Okay? You are 16, going on 17. Baby, you're moving up. Here is your mop, dear, and all the rags here. I just don't give up. Thank you very much.
Sue Kinnick! Sue Kinnick! How many people are going to go to Kaiser now? Actually, that's how they got their name. When they screw you up, it's Permanente. Wrote that joke in 1981. Yes. One more time for Sue. I love Sue. Can I do one of the lines you didn't do, Sue?
Yeah.
So I came in the other day to OHSNU, and a woman says to me, "Welcome to work, Sue. Happy Monday." And I said, "Well, I don't know if you've observed anything about me over the past 11 years, but I don't want to be here." Sue Chittick, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm doing impressions of my own students, you know they have a voice. I think that's really, really good. I actually worked in a nursing home as an orderly in college for one summer. We had memorable. We had one guy, Mr. Daly. I had to empty his catheter bag every day. He had the same line every time I did it. He goes, "That's not mine, is it urine?" I mean, a line like that, you could be elected governor of Texas, ladies and gentlemen. You really could. Are you ready? One more time for Let me set this mic up. Our next performer, can we do this? Yes, we can. We're a professional outfit. Our next performer needs a mic stand, and I know how to turn it on. Okay, that's good. Speaking of Texas, back in you remember how quaint it was, living through Trump now, where we thought Dan Quayle was stupid? That seems quaint, doesn't it? Although he did go up to Gorbachev once and say, "What's that thing on your head?" Gorbachev said, "It's a birthmark." Quayle said, "How long have you had it?" I mean, these are throwaway jokes when I'm doing the mic, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, joining us now, I really enjoyed having her in class because I learned a lot from her, and you will too. Please welcome Erin Ruff, ladies and gentlemen. Erin Ruff.
Hi. My name is Erin, and I'm an asshole. Now, some of you who are my friends might be looking around a little confused because my friends don't think of me as an asshole. My friends think of me as kind and compassionate and empathetic, and that's because they don't know that I'm an asshole. Because I'm a really high-functioning asshole. So I took this class as part of my work to learn how to be a better teacher. And so tonight, I am going to teach you, too, how you can be a high-functioning asshole. So we like to think of the human brain as this amazing computer, right? The human brain can do amazing things. The human brain has built a rocket ship that went to Pluto, and it has solved major medical problems through penicillin and Viagra. And the human brain, when it does art, like if you think of the Sistine Chapel, there are 300 figures on the ceiling, and every single one of them has the right number of fingers. And arms and legs and dicks. And have you ever noticed that on the Sistine Chapel, the only dick that isn't free swinging is God's? Do you think maybe he has an omnipotence problem? But when it comes down to it, the human brain is made of meat. And that's our hardware. And our software is electricity and chemicals. And it's all run by an operating system maximized to be lazy, horny, and scared. And on top of that, it works in binary. Good, bad, right, wrong, love, hate, us, them, America, great. And when you think of it, we as humans are addicted to conflict. Every human culture across time and across the planet has had a storytelling tradition. And storytelling is conflict. You have your setup, you have your conflict, you have your resolution. Because if the Avengers get all dressed up in their spandex and mow the lawn, it's just not fun. And now I have a portal in my pocket that I can use to have conflict with people across the planet. I can pull it out when I'm bored and scroll. Oh, here's a Sherpa in Nepal who disagrees with a call a ref made in a soccer game in Zimbabwe. I'm on that for the next hour. So why are we addicted to conflict? Dopamine. It's the good stuff. And you get the hit you get from dopamine when you win can really only be matched by cocaine. So, no, you don't get cocaine for $5. For a $5 show, you get a puppet. So I am going to teach you something by a neuroscientist named Dan Siegel, and he calls his brain in hand. And you can use your own hand to do this, but to make it bigger, I have my puppet, my brain puppet. So in this model, your forearm represents your spinal cord, all right, and your wrist, it represents your cerebellum. That's this part right here. Now your cerebellum is your lizard brain. It is the brain that we share with all vertebrates. And it does your to-do list to staying alive. right? It does your digestion, your heart rate, your breathing. That's all in here. Next, if you take your thumb and you fold it across your hand, that represents your limbic system. Now, your limbic system has a ton of pieces in it. It has emotion, organization, memory. It also has one really important thing, and it's called the amygdala. I like to think of the amygdala as the moon on my thumb. It's tiny. It's about the size of a boiled peanut. Now, amygdala is your guard dog. Amygdala is sitting at the window every day, looking. And it's looking for threats. And when it finds a threat, amygdala goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's a home invader or a friend or the mail carrier, amygdala takes over. And when amygdala does that, it sends you into fight, flight, or freeze. And that is the cocktail for asshole. So next, if you take your fingers and you fold them down over your thumb, now you have something that looks like your brain. This part here, the top of your fingers, is your cerebellum. That is where you know that you know what you know. It's the brain you take to trivia night. Whether your trivia is basketball or ballistics or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that all lives here. And finally, up front here is your prefrontal cortex. And your prefrontal cortex is your grown-up brain. It's the brain that connects with other people. It's the brain that has compassion, has empathy, has ethics and morality. That's all in your prefrontal cortex. So wrapping it all together is this pink part, and that's called the cingulate gyrus. And the cingulate gyrus wraps around the limbic system like a blanket and buttons the prefrontal cortex into the limbic system. And now you've got a fully functioning brain that can do all the things that human brains can do. But the problem is, when amygdala feels unsafe, it takes the prefrontal cortex and the cerebellum offline. They're just not available. The only thing that's available to you is fight, flight, or freeze. And if you want to get out of conflict and have good problem solving and good connection with the people that you're around, you need those parts of your brain. So what you have to do is you have to put asshole away and tuck your limbic system down under its little brain blanket. And I have a 4-step program for you to do that. So step 1. Excellent. Do it again. Step 1 is to flood your brain with oxygen. Breathe in through your nose, and if you can, hold it. Because when you hold it, oxygen soaks into your brain, and your brain starts to tuck down under its brain blanket. So breathe in to your gut, hold it, and breathe out slowly. Now, I'm supposed to tell you to do that 10 times, and I know you're not going to do that 10 times, and if I tell you to do it 10 times, you're going to do it 0 times. So, 4. Take 4 deep breaths when asshole comes out. Step 2. You're going to open your body.
Yeah.
When you're in survival response, one of the things that's going on in your brain is your brain is worried that your tasty innards are going to be eaten by the lions and tigers and bears. So what you do is open your body really big. You can do it this way, you can do it this way, you can do it a number of ways, but just get those shoulders back and open your body and show the world your delicious gizzards. And say, neener, neener, neener. While you're doing that, take some deep breaths. Step 3, stop using words. Words live in this part of the brain, and when it's offline, they're not doing you any good. No talking, no yelling, no making the next 2 points that you have all chambered up and ready to go. No emailing, no texting, no words. Open your body, take some deep breaths, and stop using words. And step 4 is treat your body like it's a toddler. Take a drink of water, have a snack, maybe go run around at a park, or your version of it, maybe take a nap. Take care of your body like it's a toddler until it becomes an adult again. So I now certify all of you as high-functioning assholes.
Aaron Ruff, ladies and gentlemen.
Think about Aaron Ruff, ladies and gentlemen.
Erin is very smart. She lives in cocaine for the teacher. A plus. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, by the way, that puppet, the sock puppet, was so stiff it came from Nate's son's room. Just for the show. One more time for Erin. That's wow, 82 to 86 for me. With Sam Kennison back at the Comedy Store. I made it out, he didn't. All right. Yeah, what was I saying? I just saw the cocaine and I'm totally blanked. When this happens, I have to start the show over. What the hell was I saying?
Masturbation socks.
The what? Oh, the masturbation. Well, you're stuck on that, sir. I had moved on. I'm trying to find out my mother's brain when I was growing up. And I find, by the way, that as subjects go among all of my students, mommy and daddy issues, cheaper to come here than therapy, I'm just saying. My mom told me when I was in college I should be more attracted to masculine things, so I started dating men. And when I finally came out there, she said, well, we didn't have homosexuals in the 1950s. I said, well, somebody put the fins on those Cadillacs. Somebody did those beehive hairdos, Mom. Come on. We have a friend, Jenny, who's a lesbian. She also has a Republican mother in Florida, like mine. She came out to her mother, and her mother goes, what's next, Jenny? Heroin? All right, one more time for Erin, everybody in the stuff. I've realized that a friend and I are the only two people left in Portland who have not done a TED Talk. And his name is Ted. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'll never use that again. That was so much funnier in the 80s with that stuff. I really was. It's true. Joining us now, very, very funny guy. It's the second class he's taken with me. I don't even think he needs a class. He's very, very funny. Please welcome on his own, Aiden Diskin, ladies and gentlemen. Aiden Diskin!
Thank you for striking the cocaine, Carl. Hi. How's everybody doing? Hasn't everybody been amazing tonight? Super funny? Yeah. Yeah, get ready for a letdown. I quit my job recently. It's the kind of enthusiasm I like for that. I just thought that being near 40 with no degree and few discernible skills was a really good time to try having no income. It's been good. It's been good. I've been watching a lot of TV in my time. Like, a lot of TV. Like, way too much TV, to the point that I don't give a shit about the story that I'm watching. I'm just thinking about, like, how they made the show. Like, what blockades they ran into. I'll give you an example. I was watching a show, and the main character was running through the streets of downtown San Francisco early in the morning out on a job, and they were empty. And I was like, oh, they just didn't have an extras budget. I watched White Lotus. I watched the first season of White Lotus. I'm not quite probably caught up with some of you, but right away in that show is a full-on, full frontal dick shot. Ball, shaft, head. You know what a circumcised penis looks like. I don't need to describe it to you. But no face of the person, so you know it's a double, right? And so that kind of got me on this road down to like, how do they cast that? Like somebody got a full day's pay for that, and there's a bunch of like casting headshot books in agencies in LA somewhere that they just flip through, and in the margins there's things like, good cop dick. This one doesn't have any charisma. I don't think you can hold the scene. With that much bush, you're going to want to cast him in like a Paul Rudd type, maybe? As you may be able to tell, I have ADHD. I was diagnosed as an adult fairly recently. It's not a big deal for me. Mostly it just means I get confused or like lose focus every once in a while. So I'll be doing something really important like checking my messages to see if any of my dick double auditions have gone through, have gotten any offers, and I'll get distracted thinking like, does the sleeper hold work on insomniacs? Like, go to sleep. I can't. I'm trying. Thank you. So yeah, I have ADHD, so I'll get distracted with things like that. Or what I thought about the other day was, I'd really like to go down an airplane slide, but I don't want to earn it. I don't think I'm emotionally equipped to go so quickly from oh fuck to wee. I didn't know I had ADHD as a kid. I just thought I was like a little dumb and words were hard sometimes. Like words are weird and kids are dumb. That's the premise we're moving forward with right now. For instance, I thought I had an Aiden's apple. I don't know if it's because I learned it from somebody named Adam, or I just didn't like the idea of some dude's like metaphorical forbidden fruit being jammed down my throat again. I also thought it was just called a urethra, and I had my urethra, and you have your urethra. I feel lucky I figured it out before I thought my anus was a planet. A little bit on that subject. Have you guys noticed the food quality at Olive Garden has gone downhill recently? It's really disappointing because like the service is usually really good. No, true story. I had a server at Olive Garden once ask me if I'd like any more grated Parmesan cheese. You know they're well trained. My mom's here tonight. She came out from California so can see this, and we have a good relationship. I don't know how my future in comedy looks based on that, but we do have a good relationship. She can be a little bit much, a little bit annoying sometimes. All right, I'll give you an example. Don't listen. The other day, she texted me, guess who I ran into? The fuck? And so I write out this whole text that's like, Mom, I love you. You know I don't know everyone you know. There's a good chance I'm not even sure who this person is. If you just want to tell me the story, just write it out in one. We don't have to have a back and forth about it. And I hit send. I realized very quickly I should have just said who. Who did you run into, Mom? I think we both would have had a better day. I do try to do nice things for my mom. I try to help her out a lot with like tech problems. Not that I'm particularly qualified, but she unironically uses phrases like "as the crow flies," so I feel like I have an advantage. I know I'm going to be the same way though when I'm older. Like all the young people in my life, I'm going to have to call and be like, "Why won't my Apple i6 Warp teleporter work? I want to come visit." And they'll be on the other line. would you try turning it off and on again? I am Irish by ancestry. If there's one thing I've learned through my life about being Irish is that, and you've probably noticed about St. Patrick's Day, the Irish do not care about being culturally appropriated. It's just not a concern. We have the Troubles, we have generational alcoholism, and we have dancing like this. Take them. You can absolutely fucking have them. I refuse to wear green on St. Patrick's Day. And honestly, if anyone comes up to pinch me, I'm like, leprechaun, please! And then I blow up a bridge that they're on while I dance away like Michael Flax. Seriously, have you ever seen somebody Irish dance outside of like at a baseball game when they're like featuring a school? I haven't seen it. Part of my TV watching, things I've noticed, one thing I've noticed is the fantastical, like romantical aspect of sex on TV, particularly shower sex. Yeah, it's a big fantasy, and I don't fucking get it. The angles are wrong, you have water splashing in your face. If you're in a tub, you gotta do this kind of like move so you get some purchase, because water's slippery. So you gotta kind of do this move, and it's curved, it's a little tapered up, so you have to kind of get your feet in like a good position while water's blasting you in the face. It's also really loud, so it's like, I like to be like quiet and like romantic. And so I'll I wanna whisper like, does that feel good? She's like, what? And I'm like, does that feel good? And she's like, what? And I have to yell, does that feel good? And then I lose my balance. But did you? Thank you. Hey, Justin, ladies and gentlemen, amen! Let's hear it for the Irish!
Amen. Yes, yes. Yeah! All right. We have a new pope. From Chicago. I was hoping for a better name from Chicago, like Pope Capone or Pope Oprah. Popra, they could call him. Popra. He actually declared his first miracle yesterday that the White Sox won 2 in a row. Thanks for keeping up with the sports. Any baseball fans here? We got baseball fans here? Yeah. Who's your team?
Pickles.
Oh, the Pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Portland Pickles. Those are good games. Yeah, are you related to a pickle, or you just go see the games?
Just go see the games, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of cool. I remember when the Beavers were here, when Gary and I first moved here in 2001, and I remember we went to see the Beavers play, and they brought a group of Native Americans in to sing the national anthem in their native language. They got the words mixed up, and the game was rained out, but it was... You too can write funny material and deliver it, ladies and gentlemen, at portlandcomedy.com. One more time for Aiden Diskin. Very proud. Portlandcomedy.com, the place you can sign up for classes, but also shows all the time here. And we do a second Sunday on the second Sunday of every month, and we feature some headliners locally and a number of my great students. Calvin Jennings will be on June 8th. Calvin's right here. Very funny. With Sarah Spoon and Chris Waffle. It's an incredible show. It's a week from this Sunday. It'll be June 8th. Kathy Cravat is on July 13th. Kathy's right over there. And I see many of my students who have done second Sundays before. Are you ready for more comedy? We have 2 more acts that are really good. Next act is... Well, is that you, Nate? Are you causing trouble?
I'm here.
Obviously.
Sounds like me.
Nate! What was that? Did you hear that, or was that just me?
No,
It's just me. I'm old.
Cocaine.
Yes. Anybody ever done cocaine?
Yep.
What are you doing later? It was 82 to 86 for me. Everybody in Hollywood was doing cocaine. I was very creative on it. Best material I ever wrote. I don't remember it. It was the best material I ever wrote. Some clubs would try to pay you in cocaine. There were plenty of clubs that tried to do that. I mean, their comics would take, you pay $2,000 a week or something if you're a headliner back then, and you take cash advances in cocaine. You go to the airport with a check for $13, for the week. Oh, those were the days. All right. I was so thin. I was creative, I was thin, I had hair. Fucking cocaine did the hair in, I'll tell you that. I was doing cocaine and putting Rogaine on all at the same time. It was sad. All right. Joining us now, I love her so much. She is, she has issues. One of which will become very apparent. Please welcome Kristen Luchin, ladies and gentlemen.
Not a lot of people know this about me, but I possess a few germophobic tendencies. I think my least favorite place I like to find myself is actually in a public restroom. Not that I don't think any of you really preferably like to find yourselves there. So as a result, over my lifelong neuroses, I developed what I like to call the sanitation squat. And as you can tell, it creates a fantastic void between you and that germ-covered surface that you would have otherwise made contact with. As an added benefit, it's a fabulous lower body workout. But the main reason why I do this is so that I can avoid using those horrendous toilet seat covers, okay? So, I don't know what it is. They must have invented them back in like the 1950s, and they're like, that's about good enough. We can stop with, the innovation there. I think they're probably they're so thin, they're made out of like recycled Bibles. Just each one carefully manufactured to meet its Deuteronomy destiny. That's an Old Testament joke for those of you that did not have religion thrust upon you. But yeah, I mean, these things are awful. Like just trying to get them out of the little container on the wall, right? You're just like, I've never seen something defy all laws of gravity as well as its sole purpose of existing, right? Just a little draft will send it careening way off of its course. Just you go through like 2 or 3 of these because they rip so easily. It's like a crumpled fucking mess by the time it reaches the toilet bowl. Or better yet, it falls right in. But I know we're a nation divided right now. The political tension is palpable. But one thing does unite us as Americans is awful ass protection. Where I will use these though is actually at my office. Because I got to keep my feet up. I don't need my shoes to self-identify for me. My coworkers, they know I'm an asshole, but they don't need to know I have one. But it's always in settings like this where like that curry that you had for lunch taps you on your shoulder and is like, hey, remember me? And now that stuff's just coursing through your bowels 100 miles per hour, just millimeters away from breaching into a full-blown Pompeii-style ass exodus. And then top it off, I don't know what it is about toilets in America. It's just us. The Europeans got it figured out. The Asians got it figured out too. We have like a football field length of clearance on those panels from the floor, let alone between each one, so everybody out there can see exactly what you're doing and hear it too. Some little kid comes up to the little crack and is like, hey. What are you doing in there? Yeah, Europeans have got it figured out. In Japan, they'll hire like a string quartet for you, so you don't even have to hear or see anything that's going on, or even know that you're going to the bathroom. But, you know, and then now they've kind of introduced these like auto flushes, and you know, you're not even done. That thing just trips off, and you're like, oh no, I wasn't ready! It is all out foo-foo dust pandemonium inside that toilet stall, or that bathroom stall, excuse me. Yeah, brutal. You know, and then we get to the hand washing portion of the programming, right? And you know, they do say you're supposed to wash your hands for the length of time it would take you to sing happy birthday twice. Most people typically get through maybe a quarter of the way through one happy birthday. I'm not here to judge, I'm just here to, you know, carry on with myself. But I've started to see a lot of places adopt automation, right? You have automatic faucet, automatic soap and paper towel dispenser. I love it, 10 out of 10, no notes. But you start to see these like Dyson faucet dryer combos that look like you're steering like the Millennium Falcon. Those things get tripped easier than, or triggered easier than a Gen Z intern. I'll be in the middle of like happy birthday #2, a real sudsy wash. And then all of a sudden it's like getting a soapy leaf blower to the face. I'm like, am I at the car wash? But, and then exiting the bathroom, which is like the final boss you have to beat or defeat. You know, most places have started to put like a trash can by the door, which is lovely. And for those of you that aren't following along, that is a receptacle for the paper towel you should be using to open the door to make your exit through. If you have any questions, I am available after this. But there's a lot of obstacles to overcome as a germ-averse. You got handshakes, hugs, sex. Excuse me, sir, did you wash your hands? You can't put Purell on everything. How did I get here, though? I wondered that myself. You might be wondering the same thing. You know, nobody in my family, half of them are here, nobody here is like this. You know, my parents, they didn't exhibit any neuroses like this. My mom, she will be butterflying a raw chicken breast, then turn around with those same hands and start chopping up some fresh vegetables for a salad. Like the apple fell from the tree and rolled about 10 acres downhill. But, you know, I've been working on this. You know, I can, you know, not every door handle sends me into anaphylactic shock anymore. You know, I can finish my French fries actually now to the end without leaving the bits that I touched in a little pile on the side of my plate. But, when COVID came around though, I was ready. You know, I was like a masked up liberal doomsday prepper, complete with a bunker full of wet wipes and Lysol. It was my dirtiest of friends that were the most freaked out by this thing, wiping down their groceries and shit. You know, I think there's a lot of positives to being a germaphobe, but of course there are the negatives. But you know, when you think about it, there's just really not a lot of positives about bacteria, maybe except for like a test result. Does herpes live on gym towels? And my ChatGPT is just like, oh, here we go again. By the way, it says it doesn't, but I don't trust artificial intelligence. You know, like if I got shot, it really wouldn't be bleeding to death that I'd be the most concerned about. The thoughts that would be going through my mind as I'd be laying there, presumably in a pool of my own blood, would be, how is that bullet handled before it was placed in its chamber? What was this guy doing before he decided to do this to me? Was he pooping? Excuse me, sir, did you wash your hands? Thank you.
Kristen Luchin, ladies and gentlemen. Kristen, very welcome. You know, seriously, this is like the first or second or third time these people have, my students have been on the stage. Give them a round of applause. They have come a long way. I mean, 8 weeks ago, Kristen didn't even speak English. She did so well. So well. One more time for Oh my. Oh, yeah, is this your husband?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't realize. Yeah. What do you think? 10 out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Yeah, that was a great set, wasn't it?
Yes.
Is she really a germaphobe?
She's not joking.
I love it when a spouse said she's not joking. Not joking at all. Yeah, what a great couple. Now, how long you been married?
2 years.
He wasn't sure. He goes, 2 years?
Did I get it wrong?
Yeah, you're covered in Perel. I just noticed. Yeah, well, good for you. How's it going?
Marriage?
What are your stock investments, sir? I really thought I might get some tips from you. Yeah, the marriage. How's it going? Oh, it's good. Good. All the right answers. Very talented. Wait till you're married 28 years like me. You know, Gary said something funny last week. I said, "Oh, you should take my class." He goes, "Well, I've taken that class." Dinner conversations are not as exciting as when we were dating. You know, it's like a couple of weeks ago, dinner, he goes, "Is there anything worse than hard butter?" I'm thinking, genocide? Good job. One more time. You do stuff. Very funny stuff. Well, this next gentleman is his first comedy class, and I met his wife before the show, and I told her, you know, Shay has an edge. He's got an attitude, and that is very important in comedy because it's your material plus how you act it out, your style. You'll be the judge if he has an edge or not. I think it'll be very clear. Please welcome Shay Meehan, ladies and gentlemen. Shay Meehan!
Good evening, and thanks for being here. So, I guess I want to start with the fact that I believe in forgiveness, redemption, and healing. And I'm glad that none of you laughed, because that's not particularly funny, and I would have known you're bullshitting me. What I really want to talk about tonight is chutzpah. Chutzpah, it's a fantastic term. It best translates into English as brazen nerve. And I can say that with some authority, because I identify as a Jewish scholar, even though I don't happen to be Jewish, but I have the particular qualification of being circumcised. Chutzpah. I will have to tell you that, speaking of Jewish things and Catholicism, because they worship a Jew, I am really pissed off about the Pope Leo XIV thing. Because I, like most of us, if I think we're honest with ourselves, have spent a lot of time sitting around thinking what my life would be like if I were a stripper. And Pope Leo XIV was my stripper name. And I used to sit around on the couch on a Saturday, and I'd imagine the guy in the DJ booth, and he's, and now dancing on the main stage, Pope Leo XIV and his 10-inch bishopric. I was like rocking it, and I know a lot of you are going like, 10 inches, right? But it was my imaginary contract with my imaginary strip club, and I negotiated a term that they had to measure from my asshole. Chutzpah. I don't know if you've seen people out there with the bumper sticker, the window decal, the t-shirt. Lions, not lambs. Lions, not lambs. Chutzpah. When did these people forget that their Lord and Savior was a shepherd who spent his entire life trying to protect his flock from predators like them. I mean, I can see their next line of t-shirts. Pedophiles, not teachers. The other thing, I think that folks who have that, I think that there's a tendency towards a speciesist dissociative disorder. I say that because as I've met people who have the Lions Not Lambs decal or t-shirt, like, I've never met one who was actually a lion. But I'll be damned if every one of them hasn't been an ass. So, moving beyond that, I want to talk to you about my dearest friend, John. And John is an Englishman, and you'd know he's an Englishman because he says shit like, "My dog is lost in the fog, but he can be located quite easily because he smells of strong coffee." And I've been friends with him for 32 years. 32 years. We've traveled the world, all over. I mean, we've been all kinds of places. We've been to Paris. We've seen the Eiffel Tower together. We took a cruise on the River Seine. We sailed under the most romantic bridge in all of the Paris. We burned on the pyre of love. And after 20 years of this relationship, John came to me one day and he said, "I'm gay." And I had compassion. Deep, deep self-compassion. And I said to him, have you thought about how this is going to impact my reputation? You know what really is brazen nerve, the true chutzpah about John? In 32 years, no matter how drunk he's been, he hasn't hit on me once. Like, what am I, chopped liver? I'm just not good enough for him? 32 years, not once. John's a pretty straight-laced guy, but one time I found myself in Baker City, Oregon, needing some dope. Because back in those days, that's something that I needed. And so I took him to this house to buy dope. And it was the kind of house that if you walked up to today, you would expect to see like a Lions Not Lambs sign in the front window. And this gal who was there, very nice gal, somehow turned the subject to God. Luckily, it was after she'd given me the dope. And she turned the subject to God, and she was saying, yeah, you know, I just love God, and I just love to pray to God, and I love to pray to God when I'm happy, and I love to pray to God when I'm sad. And John bit on this, and he said, I say, does God understand the English language? And she said, oh, yes, God understands English. And he said, oh, well, does he understand the Spaniard? Oh, yeah, God understands all of the languages. Yeah, but does God understand the altar boy when he says, "You God, I'm in this sick, I don't know." That is so not funny. And I'm like, yeah, except to the altar boy, it's actually pretty funny. I was told that making jokes about children having sex is only funny if you're Chelsea Handler, but the gauntlet is down. I was sexually abused for 6 years as a child by somebody who knew my family well, and that is not in and of itself funny. You can laugh if you want, I mean, it's funny now. But what is kind of amazing in the category of chutzpah is that this person, after 6 years, came to me and said, I can't continue this because I have a girlfriend. Oh, hold it. Sex with a child is one thing, but being unfaithful to your girlfriend is a bridge too far? Okay, chutzpah. And one more example of all of this. I had the opportunity to work for the Idaho Supreme Court. That is kind of funny.
Do they have one?
They do. They do. And it was actually a great place to work back then. I got to ghostwrite the opinion that said fuck off was constitutionally protected speech. I mean, it wasn't all bad back in those days. But somehow in doing my work and my research, I came across a website that allowed one to post wishes. And this is 20 some odd years ago. I wasn't so familiar with internet protocol and all of these things, and I thought it would be really fun to put my wish in, so I first put my email in, shay.meehan@isc.id.us, and then typed in my wish. And I typed with two hands, but the mic stand's too much of a bother. And I typed in my wish. I wish that when I get to heaven's pearly gates, that St. Peter gives me the biggest cock ever. Because if you can't have it in life, maybe you can have it in death, right? It's not. In any event, I thought I'll submit my wish, and I hit submit. And then I was shown the wish list. And there was my email. shay.ian@isc.id.us. You wondered why I talked about forgiveness, redemption, and healing? Anyway. And there it was next to my wish. I wish that when I get to heaven in the pearly gates, St. Peter gives me the biggest cock ever. And then I looked at the next wish. I wish kids like me didn't get cancer. And the next one. I wish my parents were still married. This is where proverbially shitting oneself and actually shitting oneself come perilously close. So I did what any sensible person would do, and I immediately found the webmaster's email, and I typed him the following email: Dear webmaster, I have discovered that somebody has posted a vulgar and vile wish on your list, and I demand that it be removed forthwith. And if you do not remove it forthwith, I will take legal action to compel its removal and seek damages.
Click.
Whew. Then I sat nervously and I watched that inbox and watched that inbox, and lucky for me, about 5 minutes later the email came. And it said, Dear Mr. Meehan, thank you so much for alerting us to that vile and awful wish that had been posted on our website. Rest assured, it has been removed. You should know something. There are some pretty awful people in this world, and one of them has your email address. Good night. Shay Meehan, ladies and gentlemen. Shay Meehan.
Oh man, I realize I don't need to get to heaven. Heaven on earth, really? Keep it going for Shay. I love it. Shay. I would like all of our performers, because they are comics now. They're stand-up comics. They really came a long way in the last 8 weeks. Please, let's invite all of them on stage for a round of applause. Nate Buchholz. Nate, where's Nate? All of them played this so well ironed. Mike Schreiber, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it up for Mike Schreiber. Sue Chittick from OHS and you. Aaron Rupp. With her puppet, Aiden Diskin, ladies and gentlemen. The Pride of Ireland. Kristen Luchan, ladies and gentlemen. Don't touch anyone. And Shay Meehan, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. Take it up here. Take a bow. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. You guys have been a wonderful crowd for a Thursday night. Anyone want to say anything before we go? Like now you're quiet. You guys have been great, and I really am touched that all my students have a lot of family and friends that come and support them. This is not an easy thing to do, and they've all done it with great polish, I think, and all of them have a great future, whether they do it on stage or do it in their homes, or, you know, I hope your marriage makes it to 3 years with all the Perel you're going to use, and, you know, Nate, you know, your son's just going to jerk off. I just accept it and, you know, go with it. You guys have been wonderful. I want to recognize one person in the audience tonight. My friend Paul Block, a longtime friend. Paul was the talent coordinator on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson for all the glory years with Johnny and Ed and Doc. Paul and his wife Sheila moved up here in 2008, turned on the radio, and I was on the radio, and we reconnected after many years together in Hollywood. And great to have you here, Paul. I rely on, counsel for my class. Pardon me?
Wonderful talent.
Yes, there you go. And the bad news is Johnny's dead. The show's not on anymore. As Rodney Dangerfield would say, my trouble is I appeal to everyone who could do me absolutely no good. All right. You guys have been great. One more time as we leave the stage. Thank you. PortlandComedy.com. Thanks for coming. Show's over. Beat it.
Good job.
Great job. Gracious.
I was still trying to get my seat cover on.
I was still called a little bit embarrassed. It was amazing.
That was a great song.